Emotions can sometimes get the best of us. And for young children, this happens more often than not. Emotions are kind of like a minefield, and we need to know the skills in order to navigate through it. If we don't, we can very easily set something off and blow things out of proportion. For those of us who have grown up and had the time to understand ourselves, understand our own emotions, we have certain ways to navigate, certain ways to clarify how we are feeling. Now, this is different from disregarding emotions or avoiding emotions. Because if we do that, then we aren't giving ourselves the space we need to understand what's going on. Let's think for a second of some ways that we use to navigate through this minefield that is our emotions. What are some ways that we've learned? Let's take a moment to think about how we navigate our emotions. What are some of the skills or techniques that we use to navigate through our emotions and ultimately to better understand ourselves? Picture this. You're playing with a group of children on a playground. They're driving cars and they're pretending to be ice cream men. The children line up to tell the individual their order. They say, "I want a chocolate ice cream cone." And so the child in the car says, "Okay, give me a second." They reach into their imaginary refrigerator, grab out an imaginary ice cream cone and pass it to the child. The child goes on to lick their ice cream cone and happily walk away. Another child comes up and asks for a popsicle. And he says, "Can I have a popsicle, please?" The child inside the ice cream truck gives them the popsicle. And just as they go to pass the popsicle to the child, another child whizzes by and grabs the imaginary popsicle and runs off and says, "Ha ha ha, I have a popsicle now." The child inside the ice cream truck sees this popsicle thief and decides to chase after them to retrieve this popsicle. Take a second to think about how you would react in this moment. What are your initial reactions to what is going on? And how do you think you would support these children in this moment? The children go off to chase one another around and around the playground. The child with the popsicle is running and laughing. The child who was in the ice cream truck is chasing after them and saying, "Hey, give back that popsicle, it's not yours." This goes on for about 2-3 minutes and it's getting more and more intense. The ice cream truck operator becomes more and more upset and gets faster and faster and closer to the popsicle thief, to which the popsicle thief begins to cry and runs even faster and says, "Stop chasing me, stop chasing me," and they keep running and keep crying. At this point, you recognize that these two children are not playing with one another, and so you decide to intervene to support them. What are some of the things you think you could say to bring clarity to this moment? How would you take this chance to understand what each child is feeling and going through? In the end, I had to do some running myself in order to catch up to the popsicle thief. I said to them that, "Hey, it looks like something is really bothering you, and you're running away from the other child." This child goes on to say, "I don't like them chasing me, and I'm telling them to stop." In this moment, this child is expressing their emotions to me, but at the same time, I need to recognize what this child has actually done. And so, I explain to them by asking them, "Do you know why the other child is chasing you?" To which this child, kind of half sobbing, answers me and says, "No." I tell them, "I don't think this popsicle is for you. I saw them passing this popsicle to the other child, and then you went over and you grabbed it. The child then says, "But I wanted it. I want a popsicle." The ice cream truck operator then says, "But that popsicle is not yours, and you took it. I was giving it to the other child." The popsicle thief, now sobbing a little bit more, says, "But I wanted a popsicle. Why were you giving one to him and you didn't give one to me?" I then said to the child, "Thank you for telling me that you wanted a popsicle. Now I know how you are feeling." I'm not sure if the other child who was running the ice cream truck knows that you wanted a popsicle. I wonder if you told them. The child, while still sobbing, says no. Based on what the child has told me and what I have observed, I can then help the child to understand what is going on. I said to them, "It sounds like you wanted a popsicle, but you didn't tell the child who was running the ice cream truck. And so you decided to grab one. But the child who was running the ice cream truck did not like that, because they were planning to give it to the child who asked them for the popsicle. And so when you grabbed the popsicle, they were very upset. And so that's why they were chasing you." This child then says, "But I really wanted a popsicle and I didn't like him chasing me." And so I said to them, "I see that, and I see that you're very upset that they're chasing you. But can you also see that the child who was in the ice cream truck is very upset too, because you didn't say anything and you just took the popsicle that wasn't for you?" I then asked the child, "I wonder what you could do in the future if you wanted a popsicle." The child then, sobbing a little less, said, "I could ask for it." To which I said, "That's a great idea, because if you let them know how you are feeling and you let them know that you want a popsicle, then I'm pretty sure they will give you one." In this moment, the child is feeling many emotions. They see that the ice cream operator is giving the child a popsicle. They want a popsicle, and so they're figuring out ways to obtain a popsicle on their own. The necessary thing that needs to happen in this moment is for this child to be able to recognize what's going on, recognize how they are feeling, and then to be able to bring those together to understand how they want to engage in this moment. When children don't have the space to navigate through this minefield that is their emotions, to not avoid them, but rather to recognize, to address, and then decide the best possible solution of how they can move forward, then situations like these become quite common. For us as adults, we want to be able to provide the space for young children so that they can understand their emotions, understand themselves, and ultimately develop the skills to navigate through this minefield so that they can watch, think, be.